What if the reason you feel disconnected, anxious, or over-responsible isn't random? What if it was conditioned? Hi, I'm Kristen, a licensed therapist who works with adults navigating anxiety, perfectionism, and unresolved patterns from childhood. And today I want to talk about something I see in nearly every client I work with, especially those who grew up in narcissistic or emotionally immature families. And that's self-abandonment. Not the dramatic kind, the subtle kind. The kind that hides under high achievement, people-pleasing, and emotional numbness. This isn't about personality. It's about early wiring and where that wiring came from. So let me know if any of these thoughts sound familiar. I don't know what I want. I just want everyone to be okay. Or I'm the one people count on, but I don't feel like anyone really knows me. Or I second guess everything I do, even the smallest decisions. Or I always feel like it's my fault when something goes wrong. Or I feel responsible for everyone's emotions, like it's my job to fix them. Or I don't know how to say no without feeling like I'm doing something wrong. Or when someone's upset, I assume it's because of me. And if you can relate to these, I want you to know, so can every one of my clients. This is what happens when your early environment teaches you that being yourself comes with risk. So when your feelings are too much, or your individuality is ignored, you learn fast. You stay small, you stay useful, you stay quiet, be what they need you to be. This isn't a decision you make. It's an adaptation your nervous system and subconscious make for you. It's protection. So let's talk about narcissistic or emotionally immature families. And to be clear, this doesn't always mean a parent was loud, cruel, or obviously self-absorbed. Sometimes the parent was fragile. Sometimes they were the victim. Sometimes they just weren't emotionally available. But what they all had in common was this: your emotional experience was not the focus. Theirs was. And when that's the case, the family system tends to organize around roles. So you might have been the golden child, praised for performance but never truly seen. Or the caretaker, managing your parents' emotions. Or the scapegoat, absorbing blame to keep the peace. Or the invisible one, keeping quiet so you wouldn't rock the boat. These roles help you survive, but later they become patterns you don't even realize you're living out. So take Renee, for example. She's a client in her 30s who came to therapy because she was feeling burned out. So on paper, she was successful, ran a team, owned a home, took care of her parents, but emotionally, she was flattened. It took time to tease out the fact that this wasn't about work stress. It was about early wiring. Renee had spent her entire life anticipating others' needs. She called it being tuned in, but in reality, it was hypervigilance, a leftover survival skill from childhood. Her mom was moody and fragile. Her dad worked long hours and expected gratitude, not additional obligations. So Renee learned early, don't cause problems, don't have needs, keep everyone happy and you'll be okay. So now, as an adult, she was still running that same emotional script, just now with a polished resume and chronic migraines. So what does this look like later in life? It looks like chronic indecision because nobody asked you what you wanted, so now you don't know. Emotional burnout from trying to be the easy one. Anxiety that spikes the moment you perceive someone is disappointed in you. A restlessness that won't let you slow down without guilt. Relationships where you're either the helper, the fixer, or the one always trying to be enough. Another client, Jason, kept ending up in relationships where he felt emotionally invisible. He said, I don't want much, I just want peace. But when we slowed it down, what came up was this belief: if I ask for more, it will lead to conflict or disconnection. I should be grateful I'm wanted at all. That belief didn't come out of nowhere. His father had withdrawn affection anytime Jason stepped out of line. So Jason learned, don't need too much, don't take up space, it's safer that way. And this is the thing, those beliefs don't just leave because we grew up. They follow us into jobs, friendships, marriages. They show up in the ways we work, interact with others, even the way we speak. Inside my program, Anxious to Anchored, we spend time really looking at these beliefs, not to judge them, but to understand them. Because once you can name the strategy, you can choose something different. Old emotional patterns will keep repeating in your present until they're seen, understood, and repaired. Now, I wish I could give you a list of 5 steps that would undo this overnight. But here's the truth. This work is slower than that and deeper. The clients I've seen make the most powerful shifts didn't change everything at once. They started small, noticing when they were overriding their own discomfort, or catching themselves in people-pleasing mid-sentence, or practicing saying, I need a minute, when that used to feel too risky. Learning to feel guilt without immediately caving to it. And maybe most importantly, grieving. Grieving the childhood they needed but didn't get. Grieving the parts of themselves that were shut down too soon. And learning that they didn't lose those parts, they just got buried. So one of the most common things I hear from clients inside Anxious to Anchored is, I didn't even realize how much I was disappearing, but now I can see it. That shift alone is really powerful, because once you see the pattern, you can stop being controlled by it. So if anything I've shared today feels familiar, if it's pulling at something in you that you haven't been able to name until now, I want to say this: you don't need to earn the right to rest. You don't have to perform to be worth staying for. And you're allowed to take up space even if you weren't taught how. This is the exact work we do inside Anxious to Anchored. It's not about surface level tips or mindset hacks. It's about rebuilding a connection to yourself, the one you had to abandon to survive. Inside the program, we go layer by layer. We look at where these beliefs came from. We create safety in your nervous system, clarity in your mind, and space for the self that got pushed aside. So if this work feels like what you've been looking for, not as a quick fix, but as a real shift, you can learn more about Anxious to Anchored at the link below. Thanks for being here. Take this slow. You don't need to force your way back to yourself.